Halo, it's Jang here with the Mega Bloks Halo Toys R Us exclusive Signature Series set for 2015. This is the NMPD, or New Mombasa Police Department, Pelican Air Base. Comes with 1,792 pieces and includes 4 minifigures. Everything you see here is included in the set, so it's the Pelican and the platform, the landing platform for it, and a bit of the building with 2 different stories that are built up with some detail on the inside and a total of 3 different levels on which you can place and pose figures. This is the largest kind of background structure and or terrain piece that Mega Bloks has released in a set for the Halo line, not including the battlescapes, but this is fully built up. It does use a handful of very large tile pieces in order to really increase the size of the pad here. So you see that most of this is tiled over, but it is a proper building experience. It's actually raised up from the ground a bit, and that big P4 in the center, as well as the corners around the edges of the yellow there, are all printed pieces. As a matter of fact, everything in this set that looks like it's decorated is actually printed. No stickers are included whatsoever. They give you a handful of small things around the edges, a missile pod there, a little it's either a generator or a remote control unit, a handful of storage chests around the area, a little bit of space around the edges on which to pose your figures by giving you some studded area, but most of it is just completely tiled over to make it smooth for the Pelican to land. The building is actually pretty nice. It's kind of plainish in the front, but it's fairly accurate in its overall motif. They have a nice little ramp that lets you come up to the 2nd floor, and they have plenty of space on the top for posing up there with the satellite dish. There's also a tall antenna assembly there, and also the manable turret. The building has some depth to it, so there's enough room to pose figures in there, although there's not quite enough space to really walk a figure past these 2 posts. Kind of have to turn them sideways there a little bit. But more printed pieces are featured in here, which is nice, including this kind of console air traffic control area, which has a bunch of really nice stuff with exclusive prints in there. There's also a nice keypad up on the wall, which is a super useful 1x1 tile piece. Another health pack over on this side. It's not something that you see very frequently. And then there are just some random details with some cases, some jerry cans, and also some barrels down here. Biggest Pelican ever, almost 20 inches long, nose to tail. I'll show you a comparison of all 3 versions of figure scaled Pelicans Mega Bloks has done. It's also an evolutionary design. It has a lot of elements that are shared with or borrowed from the original Pelican from 2010. The most noticeable reused element is this whole canopy piece, which has been recolored, but it's apparently still the exact same mold. This doesn't quite fit down into its spot fully closed perfectly. You kind of have to squeeze it in and kind of bring it off a little bit. You see it just doesn't quite line up there. But when you open this up, you get pretty good detail inside of the cockpit actually. There are printed console pieces on both sides for both the pilot and gunner / comm officer / navigator, flight stick and throttle for the pilot, and there's also a console in the front for him. A little tough to find an angle for us huge figures, us humans, to see it, but there that is. In place of the chin gun, there's a moving searchlight here, which can turn side to side and also up and down. The wings feature prominent lift fan elements on the bottom, and around the back you see exhausts. You can move this duct right here. You can adjust the control surfaces, and of course you can rotate the entire thing up and down as you like. You can also retract the rear landing struts just up into the fuselage, just a bit like that, and there is of course a ramp that can come down here, which gives you access to the inside. There is enough clearance there that you can actually place figures on the ramp going all the way up into here, so you can fully pose them up. And looking at the top of the craft, this is all nicely detailed in here with a couple of printed tile pieces, printed wedge slope pieces as well. Just a nice little overlap in here, and all of this opens up to give you access to the interior, of course. which is pretty nicely sized, you know, good use of space. You get 4 seats in there, which hold the figures fairly securely without using any pins going into their backs. And up on the top, the part that you open up, whole weapons rack, and I've just loaded that up with most of the weapons that are included in the set. A couple of gray assault rifles, one black, one gray older style of rocket launcher, a couple of shotguns, and there's also a little Magnum over here, and I'll show you the rest of the weapons later on. And that finally brings me out to the tail, including the horizontal stabilizers back there and the 2 large engine pods, and these are also on rotating joints, so if you want to, you can, whoa, see they're ratcheted and they have a good amount of friction in them, so you can bring those up and down. This is just a nice little detail here, but if you want, you can bring that up and down as well. I'll go ahead and rotate this downward also, so you can see that the lift fan is also very obvious there. And then looking at it from the back, you have the 2 exhaust outlets there. Pretty nice shaping to all of this. And this also has a tail hook, very similar to what they did with the gunship version of a Pelican. And that is able to come down. It's able to actually hold on to the back of, it can be adapted to work with one of the more modern Warthogs. So you can actually lift a Warthog with this. I believe you can also lift a Mantis with the part that's included with the Mantis set, but this should also work with the NMPD Warthog in particular. Here's a closer look at the first 2 figures in the set. On the left, that is a proper named, licensed, official ODST Mickey with his exclusive armor piece for the left shoulder. It also has a band. It's actually a rubber piece that goes around his right ankle there, which is supposed to represent the double ammo belt that he has attached. And he has a new mold for the helmet. Yeah, just a small little bit of change there, but they added on the optics and sensor and comm unit little piece that you can add on to those. So that's pretty cool. Has a pretty proper color scheme overall. Nice to get. I'm least impressed by the ammo belt piece, but other than that, it's nice to get that official character. But, you know, I personally am more impressed by that Brute Chieftain over on the right, with that amazing color scheme with a really, really nice fade from the gold into the red. Yeah, that is good. If only the base color was a little bit darker, it would be far and above easily my favorite color scheme to come out for a Brute Chieftain. He's got a very bright silver colored gravity hammer here, and a nice little subtle brown color in there. Has a high amount of yellow in it. It's not one of the more reddish brown colors. Even has a paint app on the back of each of the feet, or the lower legs there. So very nice stuff. I'm definitely more happy with the guy on the right, but it's also good to get the one on the left because he is a named character from a major game. The other 2 figures are not as exciting, all existing molds here. It's good that they use different skin tones for the 2. I really appreciate the pilot, or the fully masked up version or helmeted version, which actually has a good paint application going across the helmet in its entirety. It has a little bit of detail just around in the forehead area. That's pretty nicely done, but again, just molds we've gotten before. Here's a better look at all of the handheld weapons included in this set, and this is the sniper rifle that I didn't show earlier, and I guess you could also consider the the missile pod to be a handheld weapon, but you do need to add on a couple of extra small pieces to really hold it properly in the hands of a figure. Last up, looking at the 3 Pelicans together, you can very quickly and easily see the similarities, the many similarities between this latest version and the 2010 version, which completely makes sense given that they are based off the same generation and general dropship variant, compared to the more recent Pelican, which is based on the Halo 4 gunship, which is also an upgraded model. The differences in size between the newest and oldest variants here is apparent, but it's not extreme, and most of it comes from the tail section and differences in sizes of the engine pods. All told, I feel like this is a nice set, a great bit of fan service to ODST fans, and a great huge way to cap off the NMPD subline that Mega Bloks has been working on. It's always nice to get some serious building and structure and terrain work included in sets, to help bolster folks' displays and dioramas and such. And it's nice to get a little bit of the NMPD headquarters here, although I really wish they had put more emphasis on the building than on the landing pad, but it's kind of tough to pull off when you needed to put the Pelican on the pad and it needed to be large enough for that. In the US, this released at about $180 US, which is about the normal price when you think of price per part. This does have a fair number of relatively large pieces, so kind of works out value-wise. But I am definitely on the side of folks who are disappointed that this is the Signature Series set for the year. In the first place, the main focus of the set is a Pelican. And in my personal view, it's not even just a Pelican. It's less than a Pelican. It's not even an armed Pelican. It's a police variant of a Pelican. It's a dumbed down version of a Pelican. The Mega Bloks did a fine job of making a model of this, but I just don't feel like this set belongs in the same special series of huge once-in-a-year events as things like the Forward Unto Dawn or the Scarab. As both a Halo fan and a Mega Bloks Halo fan, I would have been most happy to have seen this set released as just the Pelican and the section of the building with no pad section added to it, and a cheaper price and without the Signature Series sticker on the box. But those are just my thoughts. Please do share what you think about this set, what you think about the design of the Pelican, what you think about the set on the whole, including the pad and a little bit of the headquarters building there, how you feel it all comes together, and what you think about the value and the fact that this is the Sig Series set for the year. The comment section is open, and I always appreciate feedback, including criticism, as long as it's clean, family friendly, and respectful. Thanks much for your time and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you'll come back for more, because more videos are on the way very soon.